New day, new blessings, and same abundant source of creation. So first and foremost, welcome back. Let's give thanks for the lungs that are filled with air, because that is the greatest gift, the gift of life. Let's give thanks to all of the blessings that have led us to be here together, to be here and now. And let's land in this episode, in this moment, in this present time, with a guided breath from Monique.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so you're invited to close down your eyes if that feels comfy. And we'll start by breathing very softly. At your own pace, just in through the nose, out through the nose. And on your inhale, just take a moment to breathe in all of the good things that surround you. All of the light that pours into the room. All of the love that pours out of your being. All of the presence that flows in through your nostrils. And on your exhales, send that presence back out into the room. Send that light that emanates from your spirit into the room. Send the gratitude for this new day, for this moment of stillness, for this space that we are in together. And we'll take one more breath in together. And one more breath out together. And let's begin.
Wow.
So nice.
Yeah. It's like everything we need is already here.
Yep.
All the wisdom is already here. All the light is already here.
Yep.
All the love is already here. And Eli's already here.
Yay!
Hi.
Hey!
Hey. That was great. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I feel like we all need that. Just a little bit of time to allocate to presence. And yeah, to being here together in this room.
Yeah.
We're glad you're here.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, let's start at the beginning. So if we backtrack to the beginning of your life and the beginning of what you remember, is there a moment or is there a feeling that you can see has carried through into who you are now, sitting here?
It's a really good question. You two always ask really good, incisive, penetrating questions. I think there's always been a certain amount of curiosity in my being. And when I was really young, I was incredibly shy. And so I probably censored that curiosity, or I only expressed that curiosity at home or where I felt safe. And then maybe when I was 10 or 12, I started to express that curiosity out in the world for the first time. We would go to a baseball game or go to a restaurant, and I would be inquisitive and ask the staff or the people working questions and want to engage with them. So that curiosity, and then finding the confidence to express that out in the world from a pretty young age, is something that's sort of held true as a sort of center point for the way I show up in the world.
That's beautiful. I always say that's the best trait to have. When you have curiosity, all else will follow. When you're curious, even, you're curious about wisdom. You're curious about things that are greater than yourself. So it's like, with curiosity, you automatically humble yourself to be learning more and more and more and more.
Yeah. I think it's it's so true. Like that curiosity can be a reverence for someone's talents or skills, and those don't have to be like obvious accomplishments and like professional athlete type things or something. It can be like how do you make that pizza at the restaurant, or like wow, the way you're like chopping that food in the kitchen. It's like, whoa, like how do you do that? You know, these like very small little talents and skills. To have a curiosity about all of it, I think is something I felt pretty early, and I think is still quite true now.
Was there something that incited that change, like incited that curiosity to come out?
I mean, I grew up with my grandparents on my mom's side, and they grew up in New York City, in the Bronx. I had all these stories from them, these worldly stories of New York City and that period of time. My grandfather was born in, I think, 1929. We grew up in Kingston, like relatively small town Canada livelihood. But I had these worldly stories and this whole sort of expanded understanding of what it meant to live and the different relationships and ways you could interact with very diverse people all over the world. And my grandfather was a great storyteller. So I think some of that curiosity and interest in the world came from those stories, that verbal, oral history.
It's a blessing to have grandparents around, just because like they are the vessel to a time before this.
Yeah, I mean, it was instructive and shaped my whole world when I was younger. And I know you guys both have very close relationships. It's the same thing, right?
Do you, in the work you're currently doing, do you receive confirmation from your grandparents in some way that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing?
Well, I think this is actually interesting. So my grandfather Abraham, Abe, was like one of the first feminists by all accounts, but was also like remarkably curious and inquisitive. Like he would read manuals. They used to, you guys might not know this, I don't know. When you would like buy a computer or like buy a piece of technology, you would get a physical manual that no one reads, but it would specify all of the details about this piece of technology, this hardware. And he would read those obsessively. Like anything he purchased, he'd read the whole manual. So he was like deeply curious and loved exploring new technology. So I think he would find what I'm doing now fascinating, by like in every way across all these different dimensions.
What work that you're doing feels the most aligned to you and your spirit?
Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time working with artists, and there's a collaboration and a conversation that happens with those artists that feels exciting and aligned and requires me to show up as my best self in a lot of ways, because I need to be a great listener. I need to be very open-minded. I need to be extremely curious. I need to be humble, because they're the experts in their craft and domain. And with these tools, they know everything about their practice, and I know a tiny bit. So how can we still be thought partners on something like that? So that requires me to show up, I think, in ways that I like to present out in the world, and the qualities that I want to express out in the world. And then, maybe the punchline to that interaction is when our thought partnership on something, it's mostly them, but I have these little moments of engagement with it. There's like a real output of it at the end of the day. Like there's the expression of some of that dialogue and conversation in an artwork or in a brand new project or in the release of a project and the mechanics around the release. How do you put something out into the world? So in that sort of type of engagement with artists, I get to, I think, express a lot of the qualities of myself that I like to share with the world as much as possible.
And what's a recent thing that you have put out, a project that you feel very proud of?
I mean, we did 010 in Miami at Art Basel. This was the launch of a brand new, large, 1,000 square meter space at Art Basel Miami Beach, which is the largest of the Art Basel fairs around the world. And it was a major new project and initiative that Art Basel, the company, was driving, and I was basically the steward of that project to bring it to life and curating the different artists and projects who were showing up in that space. But it was brand new. You know, all of the galleries, of which there were 12, and all of the artists, of which there were maybe 15 or 16, were brand new to this world, more or less. And to bring that project and that new brand and that moment to life and give it life with all of them as a collective, and it be received very well, it be felt as something meaningful for most people. That was both recent, quite recent in the last couple of weeks or month, and pretty substantive and a meaningful thing to, play some role in. Yeah.
My question from that. So you said when you were curating, when you were being a steward of these pieces, that you have to connect with your best self.
Yeah.
So before show day, before the big execution, before it's accessible to be perceived by the public, how do you prepare yourself to be a host of that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, it's sort of a boring answer, but it's time. Like spending a lot of time and caring a lot about the quality of the work I'm involved in, and not being flippant about decisions or taking the opportunity for granted, but like actually doing the opposite, like treating this like very seriously, not serious in a way where you can't laugh and have fun, but like the task is like a serious, something, meaningful things in life should be taken like kind of seriously at their core. Like it's an opportunity to do something meaningful, and so capture that opportunity and give your best self to it and control as much as you can about the outcome. Obviously there's things you can't control, but if you sort of do the work, my view is if you do the work as much as is possible, you can live with the results ultimately. So had it been received poorly, let's say, I would have been very sad. But also a part of me would have said, well, I think we did the work. Like, I think we did everything. Like, but then when it's mostly perceived as a success, that's good reinforcement and a good feedback loop to say, okay, if you do the work, you take the opportunity seriously, and you're sensitive to different stakeholders, right? Different people who are involved in something like that, that there's a path to success.
Have you always given, or have you always held yourself to that high of a standard?
I mean, probably not. Like, when I was in high school, I slacked off, and like, I'm not a type A person either. Like, I'm not like structured and super organized and setting goals and checking off milestones towards a goal. Like, that's not me at all. But I think, in the last chunk of years in my professional life, but also my personal life, I've tried to sort of take seriously the things that are important to me. And that means like at the exclusion of maybe other things that are like a little bit more on the periphery of those core things, but the core things, taking those pretty seriously.
So
what do they say? Like the main thing is the main thing.
Keep the main
Keep
thing
the main thing the main thing.
That's like project management key. When you learn about scope, the only thing you have to learn is keep the main thing the main thing.
Yes, and it's hard. Like there's so many distractions and voices, and you have to figure out how do you filter through that noise, and both stay on task, but also sort of understand what is valuable, so what insights and people and voices are helpful.
Yeah, are there practices that keep you like on that track? Like, are there silent things that you do with only yourself to maintain this equilibrium?
There's a mix of things. Some are external. Like there are people in my life who, by nature of their shared interest and passion for the work we're doing, sort of keep me on task in some ways because they share this energy. And so if I'm a little distracted, like all of a sudden I'm getting texts from them or calls from them that are bringing me back to that focus. So some of it's external. Some of it is having a certain amount of internal agency, meaning there's an internal compass about the way I want to show up in the world and the feedback loop I like to have when I do things. I'm not just sort of doing things internally and never sharing the product of my work out in the world, but actually like sharing things and it being received as something interesting or mildly meaningful speaks to that internal agency of wanting to sort of keep going. And then in terms of practices, again, I'm not that type A sort of diligent with a lot of my practices. I've had periods of time in my life where I was very diligent with things like breathing exercises or very diligent with everyday morning meditation and morning routines. Went really sort of diligent, hardcore on a morning routine for a bunch of years. Or I was dogmatic about diet. So I did have this period of time where those lifestyle things were more sort of type A, intensity around many of these things. Very binary. I do this, I don't do that. And I'd say now I'm a little bit more flexible.
I feel like that was the training or the preparation for your leadership almost.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I think also if you I hope this analogy is helpful. Like if you start here with like, okay, out in the world, like the set of things I can do and try is like this big. Then if you're like really dogmatic and you like narrow that all the way down across diet and relationships and routines, and you're like, okay, no, actually of all these potential things, I'm only these. Then you sort of have an opportunity to, after being here, sort of expand out again and like, well, actually, like I'm going to take a little bit of this one, but also like I'm going to open it up a bit more. So with diet, for example, being very dogmatic and I only eat raw food. It was like this thing I did for a period of time. And I needed to sort of narrow my diet down that tightly to learn that no, actually, like I can eat a broader set of things. I can eat lots of things. But so I think generally speaking in life, like expanding and contracting the things you welcome into your being, food, routines, people, relationships. There are these moments of like, okay, you contract and like I only talk to two people for a little while, and then you say, well, actually, like, I feel better when I have this big circle of adjacent relationships. It's sort of been a mix of that expansion and contraction.
That's such a good analogy because I think a lot of people, and I've also felt this myself, like the amount of possibilities are so vast that when I want, even like in my heart, when I desire to just have a very concise, inaccessible almost, like have the other things not permeate my sphere, there's this like fear maybe, or like a FOMO feeling that like I won't be able to do the other things. But I think that whittles down to feeling like time is of the essence, or like time is running out. But I feel like you're a testament to being able to do that and being able to contract and have, your small pockets of exploration actually feed the things that you're going to do later on. Because you can't really see that as you're contracting. You can't see that it's going to help you as you expand or when you expand. You think like the expansion's never going to come sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think just like generally speaking, it's easier as a human to begin from a place that's like quite binary, meaning like this is for me and that's not for me. And then, as you experience that binary view on the world across all these different dimensions, you actually realize, well, there's like a lot of nuance actually, like around this thing. Like maybe it's not quite that or this. And so you add some more texture to your understanding of all of these things. And then that becomes a sort of more robust, interesting, textured life, I think.
The importance of refinement before expansion, I think.
Yeah.
Is like
Yeah.
something that can be noted. Do you know what your name means?
I don't.
We ask everybody this. That we
Yeah.
Do you know what my name means?
I don't. I feel like...
Do you?
Should I look it up?
I feel like, let's look it up.
I don't know.
Is it just Eli?
Yeah. Yeah, my mom wanted Elijah and my dad said, just keep it Eli. It's a biblical name.
It is.
It is a
So it is
biblical
from
name.
Elijah.
Yeah,
It's short
yeah,
form.
yes, yeah.
So it's Hebrew meaning of ascended, uplifted, or high. It also carries the religious meaning of my God from Elijah. In the Old Testament, referring to the high priest who mentored Samuel, Eli is used as a standalone name, but it's also from Elijah, so it means high, ascended, and uplifted.
Interesting.
Do you feel like you have, when you are curating these events, do you go into the grass to see the micro details, or do you start from the eagle eye view?
That's a good question. I mean, I think as much as is possible, I try to objectively envision and feel the end result.
Before anything.
Yeah. So I guess that's sort of the eagle eye top level view. Like I'm thinking about, okay, so who's engaging from an audience perspective in this experience? And this isn't like a conscious thought process I'm having, but as I'm responding to your question, this basically I think what I do. And then it's, what do I know about the sensibilities of that audience? What do they have in terms of context? What do they not? What's their sort of level of fidelity of understanding of these artists or this space or digital art or not? And then it's trying to aggregate, meaning put together an experience that will be resonant for that audience and will be exciting and interesting for that audience. And then once there's sort of there's that level of thinking, as I and we get further into execution, it goes to sort of that other layer, which is like every detail actually matters a lot. So, the first couple of days at the show in Miami Beach, there are many small micro decisions to be made around the placement of a table and a chair, or the placement of an artwork in different orientations. Like there's endless little decisions that actually matter a lot, but it all begins from this sort of top level thinking and particularly trying to put on the hat or the lens of the audience and the people who will be experiencing it.
How do you balance what is resonant with the audience versus what is resonant to you?
Yeah, I mean, I have my own view on what's cool and interesting, so that's certainly a big part of it. Like when I play the role of curator, that's a big part of it. Is not just appeasing the audience, but presenting work, projects, things that, based on my understanding of the audience, will challenge them or force them to engage in new ways or reimagine preconceived notions. So there's a certain amount that is sort of that, and then also like just what I find is cool or visually interesting. Whether I have good taste or not, I don't know, but I think it's okay. So that's a part of it.
My question from that would be, with your sense of curiosity that you've had since you were young, to this role as a curator where you have to be decisive.
Yeah.
Do you ever struggle with your curiosity and your decisiveness?
It's a good question. I mean, well, going back to routines, when I'm tired, I'm a lot less decisive. And decisions feel a lot more challenging. And then either when I'm more rested or there's an adrenaline and I'm just in a sort of flow state, I can make decisions like really quickly and with a lot of conviction and confidence. But there are times when I'm indecisive. And when there's, transparently, when there's sort of collateral damage or downstream effects that are interpersonal, meaning like a decision might affect someone that I care about. I can procrastinate in making that decision. I can be a little indecisive rather than sort of going towards that discomfort.
Yeah. I feel like I'm in the process of learning decisiveness, so it's nice to hear the balance of the two.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have so many roles that you currently play, that you have played. I mean, curator, raw foodist.
That's going way back.
Broker.
Yeah.
Collector, digital art collector.
Yeah.
Many.
I like that raw fruitist got in there.
Oh, yeah, it's number 2.
Yeah.
Son, grandson. You know,
Yeah.
Which one is your favorite?
Pick a favorite kid.
Yeah. I mean, I can't describe one as like a favorite, you know. You probably agree. Like that's hard to do with those things you mentioned.
For sure.
You know, do I like most being a son, or do I like most being an art broker? I think I like the ability, and I feel fortunate to have the ability to be those. They're all sort of me, definitely. The raw food is less so, but that I can be all of those things and do so with different groups of people in many cases. Sometimes the same. But you know, I can be a son and take on that role where I don't need to be in control. Decisions are not only driven by me. I'm not in a leadership position in all the ways. I'm just a son. And I have an older brother, and I can sort of play that role, and that's nice. I love that actually a lot. But to be able to have that with my family, and then in a different context in my professional life, be more of a catalyst for the things that are happening in my professional life, and having a lot of agency and autonomy in my professional life, that also feels good. So I think it's actually that ability, and as I said, I feel very grateful to have a world where I can have both of those.
Yeah, that's a beautiful position to be in. And I think it speaks to the multi-dimensionality of what it means to be a creator.
Yeah.
Or like a builder.
Yeah. I mean, you have the same thing, right? Like in certain contexts, you're the center of attention, performer, and guide. Both of you, the guides. And then in others, you know, you're at home being like, you know, a little kid, you know, if like you're with your grandparents or parents, like, so, you know, we are fortunate, all of us, that we have these family structures where we can be more childlike, I think, and then go out into the world and express ourselves in a different way.
Yeah.
Not everyone has that. You know, many people sort of only get the latter, which is they need to be independent out in the world on their own, and they don't have that safety and security of the other thing.
How do you remain rooted in gratitude?
I mean, I'm not perfect at that. You know, there are things that I find sometimes frustrating, or that I'm discontent with, or situations that are imperfect. And, you know, if I was more actively always cultivating gratitude, I probably would catch myself very quickly and say, well, like actually in these innumerable ways I'm so fortunate, and so I should be grateful. And like, you know, maybe even the fact that I'm worrying about this thing, I should be grateful because it's this kind of thing. So I'm not perfect. Yeah, I could improve on that. Do you have any tips?
I think just what you said, it's like a mental reframe in the moment.
Yeah.
But also similar to what you said about if you're distracted, you have people in your sphere that will hit you up and bring you back. I think having people in your life that will hit you up and bring you back to gratitude, just naturally in their state, you know, they don't even have to tell you, like, be grateful for this. But you're around them and you feel naturally grateful. I think that emanates to feeling grateful for everything.
Yeah, I agree.
I have a question. It's a big one to get into, but it's something we brought up in our last episode as well with our last guests. What is the why in this work?
Yeah, I mean, that is a big. It's a good question. And actually, coming back to a core why is probably helpful in terms of feeling gratitude. Also, you know, when there's a sort of frustration or something's not quite going exactly as you desire, if you come back to your why, you probably then can contextualize that more effectively. I mean, there's sort of this like amorphous why that I have, which is just expressing my capabilities out in the world in ways that feel meaningful and real, like tangible. That's again kind of amorphous, but it does feel like the most authentic expression of my why. It's just sort of creating things that I can then see in front of me that myself and others find some value in. That is, you know, part of the orienting lens or the compass for the things that I do and want to do and continue to do. I could probably drill into that a bit more and be more specific with, like, you know, part of my why is to foster this ecosystem of artists and creatives who are storytelling and who are sort of fascinating human beings who want to express their ideas and concepts globally, like out into the world globally, and be taken seriously in all the ways, and helping amplify that and them is like a more sort of specific, identifiable why that exists within that broader one, for sure. So those are at least two, and then there's like this related why, which is like, why does anyone sort of have a professional life that has some dimension of like income and income generation? Like, why does that matter to someone? For me, that's all about sort of freedom. Like, it's about, again, agency and autonomy and freedom of time and ability to be of service to a family, to others, to be a patron to artists. So the sort of income part of a professional life, for me, the sort of why dimension is around those things.
I feel like the freedom is a core for a lot of people who get into any profession. Like, you know, you climb the ladder in order to eventually have this freedom that comes with time. But there's definitely a ladder to climb. Like, there's a process, inner and outer work to move through.
Yes.
So in terms of specifically like wealth creation, how have you navigated like first getting into business and like what was your perspective on wealth then versus broadly what it is now?
Yeah, I mean, so a couple of things. I think one is like there are basically no shortcuts. In my view, like consistency and hard work are like prerequisites, and anything outside of that is just being sort of fortuitous or lucky. And I mean, by being consistent and working hard, you put yourself in a position for more of that to happen, for sure. But those are like prerequisites, in my view. I also think when I was beginning my professional career, I was all about like giving value with no expectation of return, like of zero. And so I would try to put myself in situations where, I could learn from someone I admired or build a relationship with someone who was doing a thing that I also wanted to maybe do, but like explicitly never making it about a value exchange where I wanted something from them monetarily, but where I could just be helpful. And, early in a career, and then there are other ways you continue to do that always, but early in a career, like that was key. That was fundamental for me. Like that sort of kicked off my career in a lot of ways, just to have that state of mind. And then, if you, so let's stack those up a little bit. If you give value with no expectation of return, and then in that relationship work hard and are consistent, all of a sudden you're very helpful to this person or these, this entity, whatever it is. And so then these opportunities expand and emerge from that. So, those couple of things have been essential for sure. Yeah,
very process oriented mind, but it's it's grounded. And like your experience is all you being like in that servant leadership state, right? Like you want to learn, you want to be there, you want to be of value. It's not something you just expect to receive,
right?
But it's something you want to take the steps to do.
I mean, I basically believe that all of us have like almost infinite potential to do the things we desire to do and achieve, and then the sort of success in so doing, and actually doing those things, it comes down to like pretty simple things like consistency and hard work. But like those are maybe the main throttles on our ability to do the things we dream of doing.
Wow. Yeah.
Noted.
Well, I was going to ask, what would you say to this next generation of creatives, artists, builders, curators, business oriented people that are in the process, they're in the work, and all they're trying to do is like build consistency and work hard? What would you tell them?
There's a few things. Again, I don't really know anything, but I'd start there. Like I know nothing, basically. But the few things that come to mind are like maybe seemingly contradictory, but I think they actually are sort of necessary and need to be in conversation. So it's like, I would say be like very bold and be like somewhat delusional, because you might find yourself in circumstances or situations where there's a lot of noise and a lot of voices who say like, that dream you have is like totally unfeasible, or like you can't do that thing. So like you need to have a certain sort of mental compass or delusion, for lack of a better word, that is able to sort of filter that out and continue down that path. So that would be one. But then I think those who are like truly successful, at least in my view, are able to marry that delusion and boldness with a certain amount of pragmatism. Because if you aren't realistic about the way that the world works in certain ways, you can find yourself like always sort of running in to these roadblocks or these frustrations. And if you can just sort of resolve for yourself, even if you don't love elements of the way the world operates, the more you can understand it, the better you can navigate those realities and achieve the things you desire with your delusional, bold path and view.
So true.
If you pretend those realities don't exist, you constantly sort of run into them when you don't desire them, or in ways you haven't foreseen. So I think a certain amount of pragmatism about this is the way the world works, and then a delusion of this is what I want from my existence, and you bring those together, you can get to somewhere kind of interesting.
You know
Writing
a
that
couple
down.
things.
Writing that down.
You know a couple things.
I don't know if any of that's true.
It's said that when you hear truth or when you see truth, there's a ring of light around it, and when you say that, it feels like there's light within it, right? So it's that visibility, that awareness, but also that intentionality. And when those two come together, then you have the direction, you have the momentum, and you have the visibility. So I think there's something in there.
There's something, maybe a little
Bada
seed
bing,
or
bada
something.
boom.
And here we are, back to the Bronx.
Usually we ask our guests at the end of an episode, would, tell those listening. If you have any yet.
No, I don't have like singular words or mantras or phrases.
That's okay. But the reflection on visibility, reflection on the standard of work that you hold yourself to. That's what I'm receiving from this.
Yeah.
What are you taking from it?
That truly anything is possible. Period. And that you can explore the things that you desire and the things that you're interested in while keeping on a very direct path, and a path that is clear. Like I think keeping your vision and that eagle eye view very clear will help you on the path in whatever way you move.
Yeah. I will say, like, I've had like a million different jobs.
Yeah.
Like I've worked in restaurants. I had this like bicycle food delivery business. I've been a tree planter. I worked at a golf course once. Like I was a tutor. I was a project manager at a college once. Like I've had a lot of jobs. Those are a few of. I worked at Staples at one time. Like worked at a juice place once, a juice and smoothie place. I worked as a product manager, as a customer support person. Like I've worked a shit ton of jobs. And there are moments in that journey where it's not obvious that this is a step towards the thing I ultimately want to do, right? But I think to your point, Mons, like having this sort of, even if it's sort of blurry and like fuzzy view of like where you want to go in for yourself in your life. And again, it's not like, it can be kind of blurry at moments. Those experiences, those, for me, as I'm describing those different jobs, are like, just like little tours of duty. Like you're doing this for a predetermined amount of time on this path to figuring out how you have a better view of where you want to go and what you want from life. But I say that only to be clear, like, 10 years ago or 15 years ago, I didn't know incisively, like, I want to work in the art world and digital art and do like X, Y, Z. It took some of that circuitous and different things to find myself in a new situation, meet someone new, and then ultimately sort of find a path.
Yeah, I think we've said this before, that your mission or your destiny is appointed, but it's not guaranteed, or it's like there's not just a straight path toward it. You actually have to deviate, or what feels like a deviation.
It's like you set. There's something about your heart desire, but then the Lord orders your steps. How these stepping stones you just see as stepping stones. You can't see the full path before.
Yes,
but
of
the
course.
path actually does go like
that. And then only in retrospect can you say, well, actually, sort of, that helped me do this thing, but in the moment it can be like a frustrating, annoying use of time. Like, why am I doing this thing?
Totally.
It was so important that you share those jobs, because I feel like so many people want to, myself included, want to just step into these big roles. Which is possible. It's doable. But I think a lot of people miss in their sharing of their testimony is that this is what they had to go through. This is what they learned. This is these are the steps they took. They didn't just all of a sudden get to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said at the beginning. Like, I actually think there are basically no shortcuts, right? Like, certain things just take time and only take consistency and hard work and those over time to be fully realized. And that continues forever, basically. And with different pursuits, like being a good partner, like, takes a certain amount of hard work and consistency and time. Being a parent, I can imagine, like all these things, I don't think there are really shortcuts.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah, you know a couple things.
Do you have an affirmation?
Do I have an affirmation?
Yeah. Maybe we can all say one.
Okay. I actually wrote this in my journal, and it was plug into the practice, pour into yourself. And for me, that symbolizes, like, if you plug in every day to whatever the work is, you know, if you're consistent on the thing that you want to be doing, or if you just plug into the job that you're at, or if you plug into the morning meditation, you know, plug into the diligence of the practice, that in turn allows you to pour into yourself and gives you energy to move about the world in whatever else you're doing. But like when you're in that space of having to plug into something and having to be totally present and having to show up for it, just like be fully there.
I love it.
Wow. I have another question.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt imposter syndrome within this work you're doing?
No, not really. And I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I would say I don't, because I think like everyone is just kind of doing their best.
Yeah.
Like everyone is basically performing or being slightly performative and again just like trying to show up in the best way they know how in that moment. And I'm doing the same thing. Like I'm literally just like trying to show up the best I can in my work and in my life. And so there's no imposter syndrome in that, because I feel like we're all just doing that.
That's a really grounding expression of it. That's good. Okay, so my affirmation that I've been saying often has been regarding this. It's just that reiterating that God does not call the qualified, but he qualifies the called. So understanding that if you have this calling that seems bigger than you, you'll figure it out. You'll grow into it. It's not bigger than you, actually. Your curiosity should be the biggest thing about you. So if you're called into this higher calling, it's for a reason, that you're able to learn the skills needed to hold it. But it does take work. It does take time. It does take humbling yourself in order to then learn what you need to hold it, to be a steward of it.
I love that one.
I've been saying that since.
God does not call the qualified, but he qualifies the called. Do you have any questions for us before we wrap it up?
No, I think you guys are great interviewers. That was good. That was really nice. That was a sort of different type of conversation, but so nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So grateful.
Thank you, for being present with us.
Yeah, thank you. Really honored to have the conversation.
So what's next? Like, what should we be looking out for from your world?
Well, the next big thing is at the end of March. I don't know when this will come out, but at the end of March, there's a similar event to the one we did in Miami, in Hong Kong.
Sweet.
So I think March 22nd or March 25th maybe.
Okay.
There's a similar large space in Hong Kong as part of the Art Basel Hong Kong experience.
Awesome.
So already now, spending a lot of time with artists and galleries and partners getting ready for that event. And that'll have its own texture and shape and form because of the regional differences, obviously, and a different type of collector sensibility there that I'm learning on the fly also in a lot of ways. So that's a major next one.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
All the best.
Thank you.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Thank you. You guys going to be there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you to The Secret Garden for hosting us in this beautiful space.
Yeah, it's a great space.
Yeah, come check it out if you're in Kingston. And we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.
Peace.